All right, today we're going to dive into a paradox that, well, it pretty much flips everything we think we know about effort and success right on its head. And it all starts with a simple story and a question about two boats on a river. So picture this. You're in a little boat, just peacefully drifting down a river. All of a sudden, bam, another boat bumps right into yours. You're annoyed, right? Maybe even a little angry. But what if just one tiny detail about that situation was different? Do you think your anger would just vanish? This quote from the ancient Taoist philosopher Chuang Tzu just nails it. Think about it. If the boat is empty, who are you going to get mad at? There's no one to blame. Your anger has nowhere to go. It's just a thing that happened. But the second you see someone in that boat, oh man, your mind instantly cooks up a whole story about blame and intention. It's that other person, that other ego that sets ours off. And this simple little story? It's basically a doorway into a really profound idea, the arts of what the Taoists call effortless action. Okay, so the principle is called Wu Wei. Now, this doesn't mean being lazy or just doing nothing, not at all. It's more about acting with this calm, instinctual flow, Kind of like a fish swimming with the current instead of against it. It's that state you get into when you're totally absorbed in something, when what you're doing just feels natural and spontaneous, without your ego constantly trying to jump in and control everything. I mean, think about our culture. We celebrate effortful doing, right? The hustle, the grind, forcing things to happen. That's all driven by the ego. Wu Wei, this effortless action, is the complete opposite. It's about allowing things to unfold, trusting your gut, and working with a situation instead of constantly fighting against it. Now, this is where it gets kinda counterintuitive. This constant push to be useful, to achieve things, to be in control, it can actually be a trap. It just builds up so much pressure and anxiety in our lives. Chuang Tzu had this brilliant metaphor for this. He said the straightest tree is always the first one to get chopped down. The clearest spring is the first to be drained dry. And it's the same for us. When we're constantly trying to prove how useful and valuable we are, we can, paradoxically, make ourselves the most vulnerable. It's like our relentless chase for goals can become the very thing that makes us miserable. The second you achieve something, you create the fear of losing it. The moment you get famous, you open the door to disgrace. It's a fragile game, this whole ego thing. Chuang Tzu tells another great story that really drives this home. So imagine an archer. When he's just shooting for fun, for the sheer joy of it, with absolutely nothing on the line, he's in the zone. He's in a state of flow. His skill is perfect. It's effortless. Okay, but now, let's say he's shooting for a small prize, like a brass buckle. All of a sudden, the outcome matters. That desire to win introduces this tiny bit of tension, right? A little nervousness that starts messing with his natural skill. See, he's not just shooting anymore, now he's trying to win. And what if the prize is something really valuable, like a pile of gold? Well, the pressure just becomes overwhelming. His mind gets so fixated on the outcome that his skill completely deserts him. He's totally paralyzed by the need to succeed. And here's the key. His skill didn't actually change. What changed was his focus. The moment his attention shifted from the process of shooting to the prize of winning, all his inner power just drained away. His ego's desire for the outcome completely sabotaged his natural talent. So if striving to be useful and trying to win prizes is so dangerous, what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to the really surprising power of embracing non-doing, or what, on the surface, might just look like being useless. It's this idea that the useless is actually what makes the useful possible. I love this analogy. Think about a room. The walls are useful, right? But it's the useless, empty space inside that you actually live in. In the same way, the non-doing parts of our lives, like play or rest or just quiet time, they're what give real meaning and energy to all the doing. And this isn't just some ancient, dusty idea. It actually shows up in modern psychology. Some therapists practice a kind of useful uselessness. They do this by suspending their own goals and just being completely present with a client. It's what Freud called free-floating attention. They aren't actively trying to do anything. And in that space of non-doing, something really powerful can happen. And we see this in modern ecology, too. Ecosystems are just full of things that have no direct, obvious use for us humans. But those very things are often absolutely essential for the health and balance of the whole system.
Their so-called uselessness is actually fundamental to their real value. Okay, so let's bring this all the way back to that first image of the boat on the river. Because this isn't just some abstract philosophy, it's actually a really practical way to think about navigating our own lives.
The goal, then, is to become like that empty boat. Now, that doesn't mean being empty inside. It means being free of that person in the boat, the one who gets so easily angered and offended. Your body is the boat, but it's the passenger, your ego, that's causing all the trouble.
An empty boat is just free. It's not weighed down by the need to be right all the time, or the fear of being wrong, or the constant anxiety of protecting a reputation. It can just move down the river of life without creating all that resistance and conflict. It just flows.
So the final question really is for you. Think about your own boat for a second. What are you carrying around that's creating all that friction in your life? What need to win? What attachment to a certain outcome? What part of your ego could you maybe let go of just to drift a little more freely?